Hello Year 3, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. We're going on to Chapter 3 of Llama United today. Chapter 3, A Magnificent Beast. The walk to Cairo's house was a lot longer than Tim expected, but he didn't really mind. He enjoyed listening to his new friend talking about his favourite topics, which were animals, sauces and people called Keith. Cairo was a bit odd, but a good kind of odd, not the dribbling and barking at the moon kind of odd. Cairo had just started telling me about a cheese and pickle sandwich he'd found on the top deck of a bus once, when he suddenly arrived at his house. I say suddenly because it just appeared at the end of a winding path, like a giant had thrown it there from another country, and this was where it had landed. The house was a long light blue bungalow with a number of sheds and outhouses attached to and scattered around it. On the roof was one of the biggest satellite dishes Tim had ever seen. He thought it must have been able to pick up channels from all over the world. "It doesn't work. Never has," said Cairo, when he saw Tim looking at the satellite. "It doesn't even have a wire you can plug it in with." "Oh," said Tim, feeling somewhat disappointed. "Why don't they take it down then?" Cairo laughed. "Because it's the weight of 1,000 hippos. It's only good for target practice. Anyway, come over here. I've got something really good to show you." "Is it fizzy drinks?" Tim's eyes lit up. Not exactly." "We'll get them in a minute, after I've shown you this thing." Tim stopped thinking about fizzy drinks as soon as he saw what Cairo had behind the back of the shed. Standing there was a tall, long-necked, hairy animal with a very proud face. "This is Ludo," said Cairo, patting the animal on the side of the neck. "He's a llama. Mum saved him from some farm in Wales." Tim approached the snorting llama as slowly and cautiously as he could. Usually he would have just looked at it from a safe distance, but he didn't want Cairo to think he was scared. Ludo was a magnificent beast, covered in beautiful, thick black hair from the bottom of his legs all the way up to the top of his head. But as Tim got closer, he noticed something sad about the llama's appearance. His long neck kept lolling forward and dragging on the ground, not all upright and straight like the necks of llamas he'd seen in books. "We think he's unhappy because he's not with the rest of his llama mates," said Cairo, patting Ludo's neck again. "He's been on his own for a few weeks now, but luckily Mum is going to collect the rest of them later this week." "The rest of them?" asked Tim. "Yeah, there's another 10. They've all been mistreated or something like that." Cairo's happy-go-lucky attitude flicked to anger for a brief second as he talked. "They were in a right state when we found them." Tim took a steadying breath and reached out to carefully touch Ludo's hairy neck. It was incredibly soft. "Come on, don't be scared," encouraged Cairo from the other side of the animal. "Don't llamas spit at people?" Tim asked, bravely touching Ludo's neck for a second time. "Nah, only if you really annoy them. They're quite friendly animals, really, much misunderstood." This gave Tim the confidence to give Ludo a proper stroke. "That's it," said Cairo softly. "He likes the odd tickle as well." Ludo seemed to really appreciate the attention, and his head slowly started to lift and move towards Tim. There we are. His intense brown eyes locked on Tim. Tim could sense that the llama was measuring him up. He dared not move an inch as the huge llama looked him up and down. Then, after what seemed like an age, Ludo blinked slowly, gave a teeny tiny nod of approval, and resumed casually chewing on some grass, as though nothing had happened. A warm glow covered Tim's body like a thick coat. Meeting Ludo was awesome. He likes you, said Cairo cheerfully. You've made some new friends today. I think I have, replied Tim with a smirk. Ludo is probably a bit nicer than you, though. Cairo chuckled. A woman in blue overalls appeared by the side of the shed. Her clothes and hands were covered in mud. However, her face and hair were immaculate, as though she'd just left the hairdresser's. She had very shiny black hair that touched her shoulders and warm, friendly, smiling eyes. On her feet were a pair of mismatched Wellington boots, just like Cairo's. This is Mum, Molly, said Cairo proudly. He didn't seem the slightest bit embarrassed. Molly was clearly one of those rare, cool mums you occasionally meet. Tim smiled and mumbled hi. This is the standard greeting for an 11-year-old boy, I'm told. I see you've met Ludo, she said, smiling at Tim and giving the llama a big pat on the back. Tim nodded and stroked Ludo on the side of his neck. Yeah, he's really cool. I think he's cool too, said Molly. He's had a rough time recently, but he's getting back to his best, and I'm going to collect the rest of the llamas in the van tomorrow. Are we going to keep them? Asked Cairo. We don't have the room to keep 11 llamas long term, said Molly sadly. Our field is already turning into a zoo. Plus the goats, well, you know they aren't keen on visitors. Oh yeah, I forgot about the goats, said Cairo, rubbing his chin, staring off into the distance. Tim was totally baffled. Zoos? Goats? What on earth were Cairo and Molly talking about? So what we need to find is someone foolish enough to give 11 llamas a new home, said Cairo slowly. Yes, we do. Now who could that be? Added Molly, looking directly at Tim. Sounds like Cairo and Molly are dropping a massive hint to Tim, doesn't it? Well, you're right, they are. However, Tim won't catch up with the rest of us for at least the next 3 chapters. The nincompoop. Nincompoop was a very rude word when I used to play football. And that is the end of that chapter. We'll find out what happens next tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Bye!